I have a question from my good friend Daniel Chamomile. He's my
Oh,
moody friend. Here's a question for you. When it comes to pagan myths seeming to possess truth, isn't it more likely that we are reading truth into these myths from a Christian point of view? Do the myths themselves contain truth?
it's interesting because I don't know if your friend knows this, but one of the big differences between Greco-Roman myth and Norse mythology is that we don't have any original myths from the Norsemen. Everything we have, the prose Edda, the poetic Edda, all that stuff was written down later by Christians who wrote it down, sort of like Beowulf. But that's not the case with we have Homer and Virgil and Ovid and Aeschylus and Sophocles and whatnot. And I'm thinking to myself, no, I don't think that those Christian, Vikings, whatever, or Swedes were necessarily reading it into. I think it was there because we can recognize it when we read it there. Now, again, the whole point is, why is it there? It's there because all of us were made in God's image. And though we are fallen, right? We are broken, we are depraved, we can't save ourselves. We have not lost the imago Dei, the image of God. That was my problem with utter depravity. People seem to think that the fall eliminated all of the image, which is not true. We are still in the image of God, still made good, but fallen. But again, it's not like our black is God's white and our white is God's black, right? It's more like when God reveals himself, we recognize, like those magi I talked about, they recognize it's there. I do believe that although the virtuous pagans, the higher pagan writers, they may not have had all the answers, Nicola, but they asked the questions. They saw the problem. They saw the need, but they could not answer that need. But they cried out with the question. You know that famous phrase from Augustine's Confessions, "O Lord, you made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they rest in thee." In a lot of those myths, I see a restless heart reaching, groping is the word Paul uses, reaching and groping for the truth. And Christ is that truth that is waiting at the top of the hill. So, we can sometimes overdo this little bit and that little bit, but we are not. The yearning is there. The need is there. Um, I mean, Achilles struggling with his own mortality. He was meant to be the son of Zeus, and now he's the son of Peleus, and he will die short and glorious, but a short death. And he struggles with his immortality, as all of us do, because deep down we know we were meant for the garden. We were meant to be immortal, not to die. And we are still immortal, but now we have to die to get to that immortality. Right? We decided to do it the hard way, like most children do. They decide to do it the hard way, and now it's there. But again, like I said, you could quibble about a little here, but generally speaking, I don't think we're reading into it. We are recognizing a fellow fallen human being struggling with living in a world that is not the way that it should be. Chesterton said, "We're like what's his name, Robinson Crusoe. We're survivors of a great wreck, trying to piece things together, knowing what has been lost."